Ladies, stop laying traps for your man. Hey everybody, in this video, I'm going to be talking about this tendency that some women have to quote unquote lay traps for their man. Now, they don't always consciously know that they are laying traps, but they are laying traps nonetheless. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what do I even mean by laying traps? What are some examples of traps? What are some of the problems that can arise when you do lay these traps? And then, of course, how do you avoid them? Before I get into that, however, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Liking the videos, sharing them with your friends, and subscribing to the channel shows the algorithms that people want this content. YouTube is constantly suppressing my channel and my content, and so doing that is really, really helpful. If you find this information valuable and you think it could help other people, please make sure that you do that. I'm Kevin Anthony, a certified sexologist, and for over a decade, I have been helping men, women, and couples identify the patterns and behaviors that are sabotaging their relationships and sex life. I have the unique ability to hear what you say and know what you need. When you need help to have the relationship and sex life you know is possible, but haven't been able to figure out, I will help you have the relationship of your dreams and the best sex of your life. All right, so let's dive in with what is a trap. When I say that ladies have a tendency to lay traps, what do I mean? A trap is when you create a situation that your man is likely to inadvertently step into. So the classic example of this is, well, he should just know. No, he shouldn't just know. Remember that men and women tend to think differently about a great many things. And even though you, as a woman, may think he is thinking about a certain thing or thinking about it a certain way, or that he just knows how you feel, often that is not the case. And so that's one example of what I mean when I say laying a trap. In fact, it'll be easier if I give you some more specific examples. So here we go. You want your man to do something, so you wait to see if he does it instead of actually voicing your needs to him to have it done. And this kind of falls in the, well, he should just know that, he should be doing that, or that I want that done, or that it should be done, right? And often he's not thinking about that because he tends to be singularly focused. He's probably focused on something else that's happening and not even aware that that needs to be done or that you want it done. So by you not voicing that, hey, I would really like it if you do this, and just waiting to see if he actually does it, means you're most likely going to be disappointed. And then you're going to have resentment. And then he's going to feel, emasculated, like he let you down, or irritated, annoyed. We'll get to some of the reasons why you don't want to do this further on in the video. But next one. You want something done in a certain way or at a certain time, but you don't communicate that, and then you get upset when it doesn't happen, when his actions don't meet the unspoken expectations that you had. So that's another way that women tend to lay traps. And then the last one is you fail to express the importance of one of your needs and the underlying emotions beneath it. So this is yet another trap where you as a woman know that something is important to you, and you may or may not know the underlying emotion underneath it. For instance, it might be a certain action that he takes makes you feel safe, and you have a real need or desire to feel safe. But you don't express to him that this action that you want him to take is actually important. And furthermore, even if you did express it, maybe you didn't express the feeling underneath it. And when you do that, we as men do not understand a lot of the time why something is important to you, because maybe we don't see it as being important. It doesn't mean that it isn't important. It just means that we don't realize that that is important to you. And even sometimes when you are expressing that it's important, when you're not expressing the underlying feeling or need underneath it, we don't necessarily understand. So you'll hear men say, I don't understand why that's such a big deal to you, right? You'll hear men say that a lot because they don't understand what the underlying emotion or need underneath the request is. And if you're not actually expressing that because, well, he should just know why that's so important to me, right? Then you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So those are some examples of traps, ways in which you create situations that the man is likely to inadvertently step into. So why is this a problem? Why do we want to avoid laying traps? Well, they tend to become self-fulfilling prophecies. In other words, if you're constantly laying traps and looking to see, is he going to do the thing I want him to do? Is he going to do it the way I want or when I want? Or is he going to say the thing I want him to say? You're most likely going to be disappointed because you are not communicating your needs and your emotions and your desires and just, hoping that he happens to figure it out and meet that need in the way that you want or need. The chances of that aren't real good. So you're pretty much creating a situation where you're going to get let down. As a result of that, you often end up frustrated and or mad. And of course, when you're frustrated or mad, that is not helping the relationship at all. If you are holding resentment towards him because he stepped into one of these traps that you laid, whether or not he realized he was doing it, whether or not he did it on purpose or didn't do the thing on purpose or whatever, he stepped into the trap and now you're frustrated or angry, which is never a good thing in a relationship. So now you're frustrated and or mad, but he is also frustrated and he's feeling like no matter what he does, he can't win. If he does one thing, you're frustrated and upset with him. If he does the opposite thing, you're frustrated and upset with him. And he feels like he can't figure it out, like he just doesn't know what to do. And, when he's in that position, that frustration is going to come out in the relationship in other ways. And eventually, if he feels like that over a long enough period of time, he's very likely to think about, maybe this isn't the relationship I want to be in. Or he might start seeking outside companionship. This is one of the biggest things you hear from men when they're cheating. Well, why did you cheat? Well, because, she didn't yell at me all the time, or she didn't make me wrong, or, she didn't give me a hard time, right? So you don't want those things to happen. You don't want that underlying current of frustration and dissatisfaction to be brewing underneath the surface. And as I mentioned, it does create resentment. It creates resentment on both parts. You resent the fact that he's not actually doing the things that you want or need, and he resents the fact that he feels like he can't win no matter what happens, and there's just no pleasing her, right? So this is a problem for both of you. And if this goes on long enough in the relationship, it becomes toxic. This is one of those things that will absolutely destroy your relationship from the inside out over time. And it's going to happen slowly, and you're probably not even going to realize it's happening until you're already in a somewhat desperate situation. So knowing how important it is to avoid setting traps, the question is then, how do we do that? How do we avoid falling into this common pattern that so many couples get into? Well, number one, never assume he should just know. I don't ever want to hear those words coming from a woman's mouth ever again, and I'm not the only man who feels that way. Do not assume that we just know. Sometimes we do, and a lot of the time we don't. And, yes, there are things that we should know. Like when you say he should know, yeah, sometimes there are things that we should know. Maybe we're just not paying enough attention, or maybe we were distracted, or maybe we were really stressed out. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, and it is unfair to assume we should know something that you have not expressed to us. So really, this whole idea of he should just know needs to die and be buried and never come back again. You have to clearly communicate your needs and your wants. There is no such thing as he should just know. And of course, that leads me to you need to speak up for what you need and want. If you need a certain thing in the relationship, you need to voice it. Now, I understand, ladies, it can be frustrating if you are constantly having to say the same thing. I need this same thing. I need this same thing. I need this same thing. That's not what I'm asking you to do. If you have brought it up multiple times and you've talked about it and you've made it clear what your need is, and he's still not stepping up to fill that need, that's a different issue, right? And that's something where you need to look into, okay, what is in the way? What is the block? What is preventing him from being able to meet your need in this way? Is it a reasonable need or is it not a reasonable need? Does he have some block that's preventing him from doing it for whatever reason? Maybe past trauma from other relationships, and maybe it reminds him of something his mother used to make him do. Who knows? That's a different issue you need to figure out. But what I see most of the time is that the need actually has never been communicated at all. Next is to have conversations proactively. What I see too often is that, if anything is communicated at all, which it's often not, it's only communicated after the fact in a sense that there was a need that he should have just known, that he didn't know, that he didn't meet, and then it's like, we need to talk about this. Why aren't you blah, blah, blah? What you should be doing instead is saying, hey, I have this need. I would like to share this need with you. I would like to communicate what is important to me and why it's important to me so that I can make it as easy for you as possible to be successful. This is one of the things that Selena did so beautifully in our relationship, which is she truly wanted me to be successful as the man. And she, instead of laying traps, tried to make things as easy for me as possible to be successful in the relationship. So that is a completely different mindset. Most women are looking for, how can I get him to do the thing? Or let's see if he actually does. You're actually setting him up for failure rather than setting him up for success. So you want to make sure that you are taking steps to set him up for success. And one of the ways you can do that is by proactively having conversations about what it is you need, and then making it as easy as you can for him to meet those needs. Now, I know some of you are thinking, why do I have to do all this work? I mean, come on, he's not a child. He should just be able to do these things. He should be doing the same thing for you. He should be clearly communicating his needs to you and making it as easy for you to meet his needs as possible. This is a team effort, which brings me to the next one on the list. You have to treat your partner as a teammate, not an adversary to compete with. You're not trying to trick them or manipulate them or get them to do anything or see if they can figure it out. That is not the path to success. The path to success is to help each other be the best versions of themselves they can be. And one of the ways that you can really do that, ladies, is to clearly share proactively what your needs are and what the emotions underneath those needs are. So if you say, I need you to do something, right? You also want to share with him the reason why I need you or want you to do that thing is because it makes me feel like this: safe, happy, loved, thought of, important, seen, whatever it is. Those are the ways that you can avoid setting traps. All right, I hope that you found that helpful. And as always, if you want to find out more information about my work, please go to kevinanthonycoaching.com/link in bio. That is my link tree that can take you to my coaching programs, to my podcast, to more YouTube videos like this, to great products that I sell, and so much more. It is all right there.